here, sir. Mr. Mayor?
John
Johnny
Lawrence.
Siemens. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come on in. Yeah, up here at the dais. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Call to order? I think they do. Yeah, I will, but do I call to order? Don't they call? Okay. Yeah, whoever's going to default to president today, Mr. Baker or Mrs. Martin, just to call to order and kind of conduct the.
All right, we will call the meeting February 26, 2020 to order. First item.
It's 18. Excuse me, Mr. Baker. It's 1802.
1802.
Thank you. Just to get it on the recording.
Yes, sir. Second item, approve the minutes from CCPD meeting of August 29th, 2019.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes as printed.
I second the motion.
There is, there is one mistake. I was not present at that meeting, and I'm listed as present. But other than that, everything appears to be accurate, as Mr. Cross suggests. If you'll make that one notice, we'll correct it.
All right, it is noted that Chief was not there.
Under staff present. Thank you, sir. We'll fix that. Okay, and then you guys can vote now.
All in favor?
All right, meeting
Unanimous.
minutes approved for August 29th, 2019.
Oh, also, Mr. Baker, I guess, did we announce that there is a quorum? You may have said that. I'm just kind of preoccupied.
Oh, no, did not voice it. So
Just that we do have a quorum. Yes,
there is a
thank you.
quorum for
Okay.
this meeting.
And then proceed, sir.
Item 3 is the summary of 2019 EOY expenditures.
Yes, end of year 2019 expenditures. So if you've got your balance sheet, did everybody have it or have a chance to review it? Okay. It basically, and I'll summarize for you, everything looks on par for our normal crime control budget. The end of year revenue is about 270. Did you want to start with oaths, ma'am? I didn't know if we could continue this. We should probably stop at this moment, Mr. Baker, and we got to get some oaths and sworn statements done, and she's going to do that for all four of you at this time.
Sure, not a problem.
Okay, and then we'll proceed with the and should wrap this up shortly.
Okay, I do need, from John Moore, the open government.
I've got it. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to hand each of you two documents. Tom Baker, read the statement to yourself and make sure you can correct that statement. If you can, then just sign it and give it back to me.
Mrs. Martin, Mr. Baker, and Mr. Cross, you three have one on record, one of each. We're just doing them again because you're up here in August, and this way it's done for the next few years.
Well, it's expiring in another month, and I think we should do them all at one time. I'll let you use my pen. And Robert Riley.
Crime Control Prevention District, City of Castle Hills, and will do my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
Got my name wrong.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Mine right there.
Okay, Mr. Baker, you can proceed, sir. Or I guess if you'll just start us back up, I'll proceed.
Yes, let's pick up at item 3.
Yes, sir. And as I was saying, Board, the income for 2019 appears to be slightly over annual budget, or estimated budget of 256, coming in estimated at 278. Keep in mind that the 2019 numbers are not entirely done yet. The year hasn't been closed out. It will be by our next meeting, but the estimates appear to exceed that budgeted revenue, which is a good thing. Other revenue was the $14,490 and some change in interest, bringing the total revenue to an estimated $292,804,096. Expenditures were $104,000, which is down dramatically because we haven't paid for the approved 2019 patrol fleet purchase that you all authorized in 18, because the vehicles hadn't come in yet.
From Ford.
Well, yes, that's correct, sir. From Ford, that is correct. So that is the summary. Other than that, that is the only expenditure that hasn't gone out for 2019, and we're really not sure how we're going to code that necessarily, but the funds are there as approved from 2018, and when the auditors come in, we'll ask them if we can pay that out of 2019, or do we have to do an amendment and do it for 2020 because the vehicles will be taking possession this year, if everybody is
And
following.
still no ETA on the vehicle?
Yes, sir, they're in now. In fact, several of our officers will go pick them up tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir, we're very relieved to finally have those in.
Very good.
That's the 2019 summary.
Item 4 is the summary of 2020 expenditures.
In item 4, the only major expenditure we have for 2020 is the already approved criminal investigation division and administration vehicles, which we have purchased 2 of the 5. We will purchase the other 3 kind of as we get our sea legs with these new patrol fleet vehicles, and get a grip on that first.
Still with Ford or Chargers?
No, so we're with Ford on the patrol fleet, sir, and a couple of Tahoes that we were able to find due to the situation we were in. With the take-homes, those will be a random vehicles that we all kind of think will be best suited for the CID mission, and that being anonymity, so that when we set surveillance, the vehicles don't get made, or there's not 5 Explorers sitting in front of a house somewhere, on the street. But the cost is all pretty averaged.
Okay.
And I can provide a better update on that later in the year, but we haven't made 3 of the 5 purchase on that this year, just 2.
So with the vehicles that'll be picked up tomorrow, then it's just the 3 that remain to be purchased?
That's correct, sir. Yes, sir.
And that takes care of item 5,
yes,
unless
sir.
there's more fleet updates?
That is that. No, sir. We encompass that with 3 and 4. That also takes care of that item. You're correct.
Item 6 is to select officers as needed for the board and possible action or vote.
Yes, sir. And that is up to the 4 here, the quorum that we have. If y'all would like to wait till another meeting, it's really not urgent, other than when the president doesn't make it, that we know who the fill-in is. That's really all that will serve as. So y'all can decide that amongst the 4 of you today and vote. The vice president is really what needs to be decided on.
Vice President or wait?
Somebody can make a nomination and then second them, or a motion and then second it, and then we'll vote.
I nominate Patsy for vice
Motion to
president.
nominate Patsy.
Motion
Yes,
to
sir.
nominate.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Favor?
All in favor?
Unanimous.
Vice President is Patsy. Select and confirm potential CCPD meeting dates and take possible action.
My recommendation is that we follow the years past, the historical dates, and that is meet again in the second quarter of the year, just to see where we're at, make sure everybody stays on the same page. We can announce that date later. It's usually around April, if that suits the board.
Does anybody have?
Sir?
Doesn't work?
That'll work.
Didn't work? Okay, then I'll send something out as we get closer to April and see what works for everybody. Okay.
Citizens to be heard? Comments from board members?
I have some questions,
Certainly.
and this is coming from a neophyte, so this is my first time on a board, and certainly on this board. So my question is, there is a budget that you were just discussing.
Yes, sir.
Who owns that budget? Is that budget money attributed to this committee to allocate? Is it money given to the police department to have approved? Is it just essentially a city budget portioned off? I mean, give me some sense of.
Sure. It's statutorily defined as 1/4 of 1% of your sales tax if you establish a crime control prevention district, which our city did approximately 10 years or so ago. That is money that's allocated to the police department with oversight and direction and approval granted by the directors here that serve today.
Okay, so it's the police departments. The funds belong to the police department.
It's not. It doesn't belong to any other department in the city. It's clearly stated as identified for police department programs.
But it's earmarked for you.
Yes, sir. I
Okay.
think that's accurate. I think that's very accurate.
Okay.
for the
Then
statute.
the next question is, what is the purpose of us sitting here today? Are we here to codify that for the police department? Are we here to challenge that for the police department?
I think you're here to work in concert and provide oversight and make sure that fiduciary responsibility from the police department's goals and subsequent purchases or budgeted purchases are satisfactory to the citizens that you represent.
Okay,
Oversight, I think, is accurate, Mrs.
okay,
Craig?
thank you.
Yes, sir, you bet. My pleasure. I should have maybe read you on a little bit more than that prior to the meeting, but thank you for asking.
Sure.
Any more comments?
Oh. Sure, and we usually provide that to the new members as well as we get this type of procedural stuff done.
I have one more question. We mentioned at the beginning here that we have a quorum, and I remember the note that you had sent me via email. Looked like there were a lot more names than what I see sitting here.
Yes, sir.
How many, what's our full board?
Seven is the directors.
Seven is the full board,
But we
okay.
are down one. We received a resignation letter, finally received a resignation letter yesterday from one of the appointees. And the president, Mr. Riley, was unable to attend. And Mr. Booth had stated he would be here. But so 4 gives us a quorum of that 7,
Right.
to answer your
Okay.
question there. Yes, sir.
There is a binder that we all get.
With all that information, Mr.
With
Baker,
all
that's
that
correct. And we'll
info,
put one together and make sure, if you all have yours, we'll create one for you, Mr. Mayor, that has the statute in there and it clearly lays out the purpose of the board or the directors and the district itself.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.
Well, if there's no more comments, then the final item is to adjourn.
Did anybody, Mr. Baker, before you do adjourn, did anybody need an explanation for the website, why it wasn't posted on the website? Apparently one of the directors felt that was pretty significant oversight on our part, and it was neither that. It was simply the person who does that was off on the Friday that we posted, so we posted as soon as we could on the following Monday. You know, we're operating with and blessed to be doing so with a temporary city secretary who has specific days of the week. It's not full time, so we're making do the best that we can. But we did email it out with plenty of time and get it posted up here as well, physically posted.
Y'all did a great job.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Appreciate your all's direction. And welcome back, and welcome, Mr. Mayor, for your new appointment.
Thank you for all you did to get those cars for us.
Thank you, Miss Martin. I was losing sleep. Losing sleep. But we were gonna, I tell you what, if you needed a police officer, if you called for us, you were gonna have one at your door, whether we had to go to mounted patrol or what we were gonna do. We were gonna be there.
Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we
All in favor?
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.